Welcome to the ANEW Insight Podcast, empowering and inspiring your journey to optimal health. Hosted by Dr. Supatra Tovar, clinical psychologist, registered dietitian, fitness expert, and author of Deprogram Diet Culture. Rethink your relationship with food, heal your mind, and live a diet-free life. I follow my guests' journey to optimal health, providing you with the keys to unlock your own wellness path. Tune in and evolve with us. Welcome back to the ANEW Insight Podcast. We are back for the second half of our interview with licensed psychologist and board-certified holistic nutritionist, Dr. Jazz Robbins. Welcome back, Dr. Jazz.
Thank you.
So Jazz gave us some amazing insights into her integration of nutrition and psychology, as well as her background and her work that was inspired by her growing up, that allows her to fully treat trauma survivors. I cannot wait to pick her brain some more. Dr. Jazz, let's talk about the active experience.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about the active experience and its role in promoting mental wellness?
Absolutely. So the active experience is my private practice, and the name of the organization, first off, it comes from the idea or the premise that I believe every individual has to play an active role in their healing. And when an individual is playing an active role as opposed to being a passive participant, it means something different, and they feel something different, and they take something different away from any experience that's like an active experience. So that's where the name of the organization comes from. And through this organization, I'm able to provide therapy services to individuals and to groups who are struggling with current trauma or past trauma. And I also do a lot of speaking and training. So I'm oftentimes hired by organizations that serve trauma survivors. A lot of hospitals or other healthcare institutions will bring me in to train their staff in trauma-informed care, for instance, or learning how to integrate the principles of trauma-informed care into the protocols and practices that they deliver for their patients.
How did you get involved in doing something like that?
Oh my goodness. How? I have been a speaker. I think it goes back to my theater production, my one-woman show. So doing that show initially, I did get tapped on the shoulder to come and speak to women's groups or children's groups or group homes. And one thing sort of has just led to another over the course of a number of years, speaking to, various and sundry organizations that touched my heart, or I appreciated the work that folks were doing. And as I got more into the mental health space, I would always make it a point to take information that I learned to K through 12 settings that I'd worked with in the past, and giving teachers and administrative staff tools on how to, in the moment, work with students who may be challenged with current traumas in their lives. Wow. So that's something that I started doing as a master's student. And again, it just word of mouth, I think. It is not any sort of fancy marketing or promoting or anything that I've done. Not yet, anyways, just a lot of word of mouth.
Wow, that's so wonderful. I mean, how do you think that work as a public speaker has influenced your work as a therapist and as a teacher?
Yeah, it's almost like asking, how has being female influenced the way that you tackle X, Y, or Z? Mm-hmm. It's those pieces of me are so in the fibers of my being that it would be difficult to say, that's the performer me, that's the teacher me, that's the therapist me, that's the it is all so a part of me that every bit of it colors the lens from which I view myself, others, and the world. I remember as a master's student learning how to, facilitate therapy. Many of my peers were nervous. Oh my goodness, I don't know what to ask next, or what's the right next question. Well, as an actor, acting is reacting. Everybody's heard that. But my point is, you have to be like so in tune with what this other individual is saying so that I can pick up their cue and deliver my line or feed them their line. So having sort of impromptu conversations or dialogue has never been a challenge for me, and it helped me tremendously as a newer clinician because I felt comfortable being in intimate settings and having conversations with other people because of that performance background and improv work that I had done. Not that I was performing with folks, it just felt natural and comfortable to have a conversation with a human, even though I didn't know where that conversation was going.
Right. I think performing arts gives you flexibility.
For sure.
It also is a very mindful activity. You can't be checked out.
You can't. Yeah.
You have to be paying attention. You have to be working off of your partner.
Yeah.
And I think when you put that into the therapeutic setting, it just makes you a great listener and also someone who can reflect, with some thought, especially if there's no self-consciousness. And I think performing arts gives you that kind of confidence to just speak your mind and to say what you need to say, because you have to do that.
Right.
And the training really helps with that in therapy. So I can see us, again, being so similar. It's crazy. So tell us about your nonprofit. You do everything, by the way. Oh my gosh.
I don't sing.
Okay, that's the one thing Dr. Jazz doesn't do is sing. I'll bet you she can sing anyway. Oh, as the CEO of Healing, Hope, and Love, what initiatives are you most passionate about, and how do they align with your professional expertise?
Yeah. So I always knew that I wanted to engage in nonprofit work. I wanted to do something that gave back to the community. And I thought that it would be a women's group or a girls' group of some kind. And when I left New York and came back to Los Angeles, I thought my eyes were deceiving me. I was seeing encampments of unhoused individuals on sidewalks where there were none. Just 3 years, I'd only been gone for 3 years. And I was seeing encampments where there were none. Just 3 years when I left. And I remember asking folks, hey, God, what's going on in the city? And no one really had any answers. And it honestly broke my heart. And I was sitting at a cafe with a friend, and I said, I don't know what can be done, but I just want to take sandwiches out. And he said, I'll help. And that was the birth of the program Food for Friends. That was in 2016. Also in 2016, I remember scrolling through social media, and I saw a friend doing push-ups. And she did push-ups, she counted them out, and at the end she said, okay guys, I'll see you tomorrow. And the hashtag was 21 push-up challenge. And so I Googled that hashtag, and it said that 21 military folks die by suicide per day. And I have military people in my family. My brother's a veteran, my uncles are veterans, and that hurt me too. And I remember I set up my phone and I said, you know what, I'm going to do these push-ups. And just as I was about to hit record, I was like, what is me doing push-ups? Like, what is that doing? What is that honestly doing? And my mind sort of harkened back to the ice bucket challenge. And I remember everybody just pouring buckets of ice, and we were supposed to be more aware about ALS. But I don't understand awareness, and I'm not saying that to be facetious or foolish. Awareness and then what? Awareness and then what? So one of the organization's mantras is action over awareness. So instead, I took my phone down and I looked for a military base, and I wanted to find some kids or a child who had lost a parent in the military so that I could send that child a care package. And 7 days of being transferred from this base to this base to this department, that department. And ultimately, I got to talking to someone in San Francisco, and he said, Jazz, I got 2 girls. They're sisters. They lost their dad. Does it matter how the dad passed? I said, it doesn't matter. And he said, I already took this next step and got in touch with the mom, and the mom is okay with you reaching out.
Wow.
And reached out and asked permission to send care packages of school supplies to her daughters, and mom gave us the thumbs up. And that was the birth of Freedom Kids. And so both of these programs have been running since 2016.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, really, I don't know how you have the time.
It was challenging as a student, right? So the work in my nonprofit is it is what fulfills me the most and what I get the most gratification out of. And as a student, my priority needed to be school, right? Because it cost so much, I have to get through this. So I was part-time in my nonprofit organization, always wanting and waiting for the days that I could be able to do more. So now being on the other side of all things school, I'm so thrilled and excited to be able to dedicate more time, effort, and energy to those works.
Thank God being on the other side
Thank
of all things school.
God.
Oh my
Thank
goodness.
God.
So much school. But it gives you that leverage at this point, especially going for your doctorate. I just think the sky's the limit when you do that. And so there's just so much love and care that you put into your work. On top of that, you're a published author.
Yeah.
I want to hear about your books, Still Standing and Golden Penny. Please tell us about them, what they're about, how they were inspired.
Sure. Still Standing is a collection of poems and essays. I've been writing poems since grade school. I remember winning a poetry contest, and I won $50 in 7th grade, I think it was. And it was the first time that I felt that I was good at something or that somebody noticed anything, in terms of my writing. My mom has a book of poetry that I wrote in 2nd grade, and God bless her that she's held on to it for all this time. But writing was an outlet for me because I was feeling so much hurt and pain as a child, and I really didn't have anywhere for it to go, so it went on the page. And Still Standing is a collection of, writings that are just almost like diary entries for me, to be quite honest. Each poem has an essay that shares my today perspective on something that was quite painful and dark. And then The Golden Penny, the title of that comes from the adage, a penny for your thoughts. So the notion is change your thoughts, change your life. Very cognitive behavioral therapy before I was in school. I, had never heard the acronym CBT.
Yes.
However, that adage was an adage that a mentor of mine shared with me as a high school student. And I held on to it, with my fingernails at best. But The Golden Penny is written as almost a journal and how-to. It's 52 weeks of nuggets or of wisdom thoughts, and it gives homework assignments. It is very CBT. It is very CBT. When I found out what CBT was, I was like, wait a minute, I wrote a CBT book. Oh my gosh. But it gives folks an opportunity to pace themselves through a healing journey by incorporating journaling, right? It is a journal and a how-to all sort of built into one. And I enjoyed writing them both.
Oh, I love it. There's just nothing that you cannot do. You are also the president-elect for LACPA.
Yeah.
Give us an idea of why you joined the organization and why you chose to go into leadership, and what do you hope, how do you hope to steer LACPA into its newest phase?
Yeah. So, LA County Psychological Association is celebrating their 80th birthday this year, which is quite impressive and incredible. I joined the organization in 2018 as a student, of course, and I joined on the urging of a mentor that said, join this, or did I say 2018? Yeah, 2018. And I joined and immediately took up a leadership role as a campus representative. And for me, why leadership? I don't know anything different. If I'm going to bother to be a part of something, I'm going to be a part of what makes the wheels of that thing turn. I don't know anything, again, the active experience, right? I don't know anything about sort of passively being a part of anything that means something to me. Otherwise, time is so valuable. I could be using that time doing something else. So I was a campus representative for 2 years. Then I joined the board in 2020 and served on the board for 2 years. In 2020, I also joined the ethics committee. And in 2022, I was convention committee chair, so I planned the convention that year.
Gosh.
And it's, I met Dr. Andrea Brosh in this organization, and her lecture, her training years ago was titled Food Mood. I will never forget. And I feel so incredibly grateful that this is the organization that allowed my paths to cross with this person who, has opened my eyes to this other discipline that really has my heart. So yeah, I've enjoyed being a part of the organization, and in terms of initiatives or where I see the organization going on my watch, gosh, I have so many ideas and thoughts, probably a bit naive at times and grandiose at other times. I'll tell you one that is really important to me is increasing LACPA's visibility in the community.
Yes.
Greater Los Angeles is such a massive and beautiful place and space that is home to so many different folks. I would love for community members to know that Los Angeles County Psychological Association is here, has been here for 80 years, and is sort of itching to be more involved and serve our community in more ways, right? Listen, the organization has done a lot in the community over the 80 years. I think we could be doing a bit more.
Where? I mean, we just saw the worst ever wildfires.
Yeah.
I think California's ever seen.
For sure.
I'm the disaster response co-chair, so I got really, really busy in January and February.
Yeah.
And that, has jump-started, much more of my work in the community. What else do you think we need to do?
Yeah.
What does Los Angeles need?
Of course, I am going to mention the unhoused. It's such an issue that the city has, and the layers are so complex and deep as to how this has sort of gotten to where it is. But I would love for LACPA to be involved in resourcing efforts, serving the unhoused, and or partnering with organizations that do serve the unhoused. And I think particularly at any sort of community wellness event, LACPA needs to be present. We need to be present, and we need to show the community, again, that we're here and we care about the mental wellness of our community. So whether that is events that are geared towards, there's lots for the fire survivors now, but family or children's focused events, or healthcare focused events, or even heritage events for particular community groups, anything that in particular is being hosted or facilitated by the county of LA, I would love, and I know it's a big ask and task. However, I would love for LACPA to have a presence.
It's totally possible. Within 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks from the start of the wildfires, we amassed 40 clinicians trained in psychological first aid. They all just mobilized, got their training. We have this volunteer group. So I can see some collaboration in the future, because it's not just about treating for disasters or helping during disasters. This group can really be, I think, the face of LACPA and go out to these community events and reach out and provide resources and give some education to the public. So I think that there's a lot that's going to be happening in the next couple years, maybe with you and I, for sure. But certainly LACPA, I think, I would agree with you, I think needs to get out there in the community, and people need to know that this is a resource and that there are so many caring, wonderful, amazing therapists wanting to, be a part of this community. Because that's why we're here. We're here to just be able to help each other and provide each other community. So give a picture of how people can get a hold of you. How can they work with you? How can they get your book? How can they book you as a speaker?
All things me, DRJAZ Robbins.com, drjazzrobbins.com. All of my everything is there. I welcome everyone. Come, be a part of the Robin's Nest.
Yay. Oh, I love that. Be a part of the Robin's Nest. That is wonderful. Well, what's on the horizon for you? Give me a picture.
So I am, speaking of Robin's Nest, I'm working on a new nonprofit that is the Robin's Nest Wellness Foundation that will be focused on integrating art into healing. So the organization will be providing opportunities for youth, opportunities for adults not necessarily therapy, though there will be a therapy component or service offered through the organization at low cost. That's something that's always been that I've been passionate about as well, is just access. However, I also will be creating just support opportunities and group opportunities for minors and adults to use art as a tool for healing.
Oh my goodness, I absolutely love this. And maybe you can have me come along and help on occasion. I think that would be incredible. Dr. Jazz, you are an absolute Wonder Woman. You do so much, not just for your own clients, but for the community. I'm so blessed to know you, and it's so lovely to know that there are, a burgeoning group of people who are really invested in nutrition and how it can bolster both our physical and our mental health. So it's been so lovely to pick your brain. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. This has been fantastic. Thank you so much. You are also a Wonder Woman. Please, you are.
Well, I mean, I just feel like we're on some, twin paths here. And that's why we have to band together
100%
and get out there and help people however we can. So thank you, everyone, for joining us for the ANEW Insight podcast. We're really grateful for Dr. Jazz, and we hope you join us next time.
Thanks for tuning into the ANEW Insight podcast. Please remember, the contents shared on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. You can find us anywhere podcasts are streaming, on YouTube at my.anew.insight and at anew-insight.com under the ANEW Insight podcast tab. And follow us on our socials at my.anew.insight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more updates. Tune in next time and evolve with us.